right, guys. Well, welcome back to Elev8ed Podcast. This is episode 14. Today, we have a very special guest. We actually I met this guy at TwitchCon. The man, Dan, downstairs. You want to introduce yourself, Dan?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm Dan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gimbl, and I'm currently based in Paris, France.
Cool. It's 3 in the morning right now.
3:43 now.
3:43.
Wow. Thanks so much for being with us, Dan. I really appreciate it. I know that waking up at 2:30, or did you get up at 2 to meet with us?
2, yeah.
2. So we really appreciate that. I know that shows a lot of dedication to your community, even if we aren't directly supporting each other just yet. Getting out there or getting up that early to join us is definitely appreciated.
It's not easy to do.
Thank you for having me. It's the same. Both ways here.
So DJ and I both are relatively familiar with your platform. I'll do my best to explain it real quick for everybody that's watching that isn't familiar with it. Essentially, Gimbl is a way for the audience of a stream to interact with the streamer and vice versa that isn't there before, right? So
exactly.
An audience member can get on your platform and create a challenge for the streamer and then put up a bounty or a reward for it. And if the streamer completes the challenge during their match, then they can claim that reward. Does that capture
exactly? Yeah, it's exactly that. I'll re-explain it maybe in other terms, but it's exactly that. If you even want, I can actually explain you how we got the idea. It might actually give I would say precise information to your audience. How we came up with the idea, how we actually worked our way through coming up with Gimbl, founding everything, creating a team, creating a product, and how we actually build it, which is something very complex, not easy. So what we did was, back in 2016. So I met my co-founder, which is an engineer. I'm not, and I'm more on top of the business side, and he's really an experienced developer and product guy.
Okay.
So we both wanted to create a company. We both are gamers, not good, but we are amateur gamers. And we we looked at figures, and we completely understood that the gaming industry was actually booming. This was back in 2016, early.
Yeah.
So we looked at figures, and we focused on one subset of the gaming industry, which is live streaming, and we understood that the entire growth of the market was actually coming from this subset, so live streaming, and hence actually the release of Valorant and how Riot actually played the launch using Twitch completely, which was, I think, one of the most cost-effective launch strategy of a game ever. So it has actually proven our point. So what we did was we were actually trying to figure out what to do, how to create a product, even what was the idea. And my co-founder was actually coding and watching a StarCraft 2 stream on Twitch. And to be honest, I didn't know about StarCraft 2. So I kind of asked him okay, what is going on? I like to gamble. I like to actually put money on games, matches, whether it's
who doesn't,
NFL,
right?
Yeah. So I like to gamble. And he explained me the game. There were almost a clutch during the game, a pivotal moment. And I thought, okay, whoa, can I actually put money on something? Can I actually engage with the streamer? And this is how the entire idea went through. We looked for products. We looked for ways to actually engage with streamers. And we understood, so in 2016, 2017, that there are almost no product, no tools that enable streamers to actually leverage the power of the community and enable to build I would say a live stream session on top of the audience, because a streamer is actually nothing without his audience, and he has to reward them. He has to be there and to build the content according to whatever will actually please the audience. So we contacted a lot of gamers in the US, in Europe. We did a lot of user interviews, and we understood straight after that streamers are actually struggling with many issues. But you'll tell me if that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, the four main issues are the gaining viewers, so making sure that you can actually have a community and have the community engaged, so it's like real user engagement, which is very hard to get. Yeah. Whenever you get user engagement, the second issue is for sure for you guys to actually retain them, because one of the key metrics that you guys have is definitely retaining the viewership throughout I would say the majority of the live stream duration.
Correct.
The third one that we have spotted is making sure that you can have any ways to create interaction and differentiate your content from other streamers. And the last one is, of course, I would say the moneymaker, the monetization part, and the goal, as we see it, is enable a streamer to monetize the content without creating frictions with the audience. So what I call frictions is monetizing through ways that could actually impact negatively the streamer, in a sense that when he will start monetizing, viewership will actually be gone, so that he will lose viewerships. So this is how we came up with the idea of Gimbl, and we started to find ways to make sure, okay, what can actually work for you guys, what can actually take like a few clicks for you to not create a lot of hurdles, to you have already all your tools, you have a setup, we don't want to actually mix badly your settings and add as a burden another tool. So we created a ways for streamers to enable the audience to really do a transition from a passive state, because they are actually watching you, but they cannot engage with you apart from actually pushing you comments on the chat, sending you a sub, sending you a donation. But even if they actually send you a sub or a donation, it's kind of a bit, so I'll say it's kind of a bit boring, either both for you guys and for the audience. And even on an ethical note, so for I would say streamers that have like not a big viewership, but even like for guys like Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, like Shroud, and so on, at some point getting donation is kind of non-ethical, because those guys are earning so much. Exactly. That we thought that building ways for the streamer to actually work to earn the donation was way better, and it will actually create user engagement. And this is actually what we tested, at TwitchCon. So I'll explain the product and explain you guys what we tested. But so the product actually, so Gimbl is made for streamers, and it's made to actually create a second layer on top of your stream in order to offer challenges to your audience. So your audience can actually send you preset challenges that we have predefined and that will solve themselves automatically. So for example, if we were actually covering challenges on PUBG, I'm not saying that.
Which you will.
Not yet. Not yet.
What we'll do is, for example, your audience will be able to challenge you on like so I challenge you to do 5 kills. I challenge you to do 5 kills 15 kills in a row within 2 games. I challenge you to do like 5 kills performing 5 headshots. Those kind of challenges. So it's predefined based on game events only. And the goal is really to make sure that the streamer can now really act, as the audience wishes you guys to, target or create like a game history within your live stream. And the goal for us is to actually see that those pain points that we have located, that we have understood from discussing with a lot of streamers, it are actually solved. And at TwitchCon, what we tested was checking that people that engaged with the demo that we displayed were actually staying, on the booth, which was very problematic for us because we couldn't actually engage with other people. So we had like people stay like for at least 30 minutes in order to see how the challenge would actually be solved, and there were no money at all. Like it was only a demo, so it was fake money, and people actually stayed on the booth. They really wanted to understand like what is the outcome, how the streamer will react to it, and it was something that was pre-recorded, so there were like no interactions. But it was actually very fun, and has enabled us to first meet you and meet a lot of gamers, and enable us to even learn more about what you guys want and how we should get back to Europe and work and make the product evolve way more toward gamers and be streamer centric.
Cool. So I've always wanted to do this too, because I haven't really dug too deep into Gimbl. And it was actually brought up in the chat as well. So when people make these challenges to the streamer, once it's achieved and you earn the money from that challenge, how does it get cashed out? Is it through like PayPal, or do you guys have your own software that then delivers the money to your bank account? Or how does that work?
It's a very good question. So the streamer, I'll maybe explain the full way for your audience if they want to use our product, so they can be familiar with it. So the way it works, so whenever you open like I would say a streamer account on Gimbl, you have to input details. Okay, so where you live, your first name, last name, so private details.
Correct.
That enable us to actually like hold funds on your behalf, and we're using a legal payment service provider such as PayPal. Mm-hmm. So Stripey. We're using Stripey. I don't know if you guys know Stripey, but it's
I'm familiar with it.
A US-based. Perfect. So it's a US-based company, and what we do is we have almost a bank account at Stripey, and so every time that a streamer opens an account, it of course enable him to actually receive funds on his own Stripey account, and once basically the audience will engage, challenge, and so on, he'll have within his own account and the ability to actually withdraw funds and send the funds back to his own account. So he has to input his own private bank account, and he will be able to withdraw the money straight to his bank account. Okay.
Is there any like minimum amount that you have to have before you're able to withdraw?
So to be honest, we did not define that yet. So for now, every withdrawal is made manually. Within the next months, withdrawals will be made fully automatically. So the product will completely be finished actually in 1 month. And yes, so yeah, sorry, I might lost the question right there. It's
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I was asking, because I know with Twitch, you have to reach $100 before they cash you out at the end of the month. So as long as if you can have $99.99 and you could be a penny off, and if you don't get that penny, you could be at 99 for 2 years, and if you don't reach that 100 mark, you're not getting cashed out.
No. The only thing that we do, is we force the streamers to actually keep the funds, for 14 days, and you'll be able to cash out only after 14 days. Okay, because actually European law, forces companies to actually enable so the audience to actually act as to withdraw the funds. They can actually go back on whatever they did for a period of 14 days. So in order for you guys to not have like hurdles with your community, we lock the fund throughout 14 days. And once the 14 days mark is passed, you guys can actually be free to either have the funds within your own Gimbl account and withdraw it to your bank account. But yeah, there's no minimum apart from covering.
Okay. Perfect.
That's awesome. So on the subject of money, I've looked at your site quite a bit, and I do play League of Legends. Like I said, I don't stream League very often, but just the idea of having something like Gimbl encourages me to reconsider whether or not I want to stream League of Legends. And I'm being very honest here, because I really like finding these applications that add another layer, whether it be onto the game or onto streaming or onto the viewership, but it adds another layer that becomes very interactive. For instance, so I spend a decent amount of time looking for applications that fulfill this. I don't know if you're familiar with First Blood, but First Blood is fantastic. That's primarily what we use for PUBG. There's G-Loot. G-Loot allows you to play against yourself or against other players, and you can bet kind of on yourself, but there's nothing that allows for you to engage with the audience.
Yeah.
But what I noticed about Gimbl is that I don't see any ads. I don't know how much markup you have, profitability off of when the viewers buy the in-app currency. But I know that Gimbl is. Are you guys still based around the blockchain concept?
So it's a good question. We are.
DJ doesn't understand this stuff.
I'm dumb, dude. Like, there's really nothing in here, dude.
No worries at all. So yeah, we support many currencies. So we support national currencies such as the dollar, USD, euro, and GBP for now. So the British pound. We will add more currency after, and we support cryptocurrencies. So two currencies mainly: Ethereum. So not Bitcoin for those who are knowledgeable on the crypto subject, and the GIM token, which is a token that we have created ourselves.
Nice.
And so people can actually engage whether they want to send you USD, they want to send you euros, they want to send you crypto. They can actually select the currency that they want to send to the streamer, and you guys actually receive the entire amount. So for the markup question, what we do is, of course, right, everything that we do requires a server, employees. We have a full team behind us. So we actually have an 18%, so 18% fees on like every challenge. So the thing is, so it's a free product to use. The audience have nothing to pay. The streamers have nothing to pay, and the streamer are only so the markup, the 18% fee, the commission fee, will only actually go through if a streamer manages to complete a challenge.
Yes.
So if you guys actually manage to complete a challenge, you'll actually get the reward minus, of course, the platform fee. That's it.
Okay.
So it's free to use, and it's only based on success revenue.
That's awesome. So you want to help really define the predefined challenges to be something that is challenging for the streamer to do, because you don't want it to be too easy, but you also don't want it to be so difficult that we never complete the challenges, because then you're never getting paid either.
Exactly.
So there needs to be a balance.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to put a headshot from like 1,000 meters away, because the chances of either one of us getting a headshot from that far, you're not getting paid, buddy.
True, it's totally true. This is where it has came, very handy that to discuss with streamers and even with professional players at first. So what we do is, whenever we integrate a game, we need to understand the full psychology of the game. Even if we are, gamers at heart, we are not hardcore gamers, or we don't have the full knowledge of the game, and we never played, on a competitive aspect. So every time that we integrate a game, we need to understand the full psychology of the game, how streamers actually intend to play during a live stream, which is completely different than playing, professionally. So the goal is to understand how the audience will actually be engaged, to actually challenge, and to keep being retained. So what we did was, you have challenges, of course, beat up one, win the game. So like, challenges that are like one click of a button and you'll have to actually wait until the end of the game. But we have like, for example, killing challenges, which evolve through time and through events. So for example, if you just start a game, we'll actually push your audience, a kill challenge, and they can select different variables, outcomes. So, for example, they will be able to challenge you on can you do 1 kill, 3 kill, 5 kills, or 7 kills? And if, for example, you will reach 3 kills or 2 kills, automatically the outcomes that people can actually challenge you on will evolve and will change on the challenge page. So it will actually go through your results, and the goal is to make challenges evolve as well. So once, for example, you actually complete a challenge of 3 kills, the same person can actually be retained and will want to challenge you again in order to reach 5 or 9 kills.
Yeah.
So it's going to evolve around the streamer's profile. So
exactly.
A person who is watching both me and say Shroud might have a 15 kill challenge, but that's not going to exist for me because that would be a waste of time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost, man.
Wow.
Occasionally.
That's smart.
Exactly.
That's very smart.
So I see what you mean by like not only the psychology of the game, but the psychology of the player who's interacting with the game. I really like it. That's listening to you explain from beginning until now your thought process behind the game, breaking down the 4 major challenges that you see a streamer face. I really hope that there's a portion of our audience that's out there right now that whether you're looking at building a career in streaming, building a career in gaming itself, or building a career in app development that's centered around somewhere in between both. One of the first things that you're going to have to do, guys, is sit down and ask yourself, if it's streaming, what is streaming missing right now, and what can I do to fill that gap? And that's a big piece of building any business plan. And I think that you've done a fantastic job of explaining where you see those gaps at and what you can do to help build that bridge between the player and the audience. And I can't thank you enough, man, for what you're doing, and for the way that's just going to encourage other people to do it too. And being innovative in this field isn't easy, but your platform, I don't know of another one that does anything that's actually doing what you're doing right now. I know some that are similar, but they're not building that audience engagement. And that, you're right, all 4 of your points are dead on the struggles that we experience as streamers. That's a big piece of why we're doing this, to help fill in those different thought gaps. And
that's actually one of the reasons why I was very excited to come back and tell Explicit about it, because when I first stopped at your guys' booth, I'm like, man, I've never seen nothing like this, and this would be perfect to implement into our PUBG games, because we actually had some people in our chat making challenges. Okay, if you would get a chicken dinner, I'm gonna give you this many bits, 5,000 bits or whatever it might be. And now that you have this app that's gonna allow you to do that without bits, and it's gonna track it for you, and it's gonna let you know if you completed it or not. That's awesome, man. So I was really excited to tell X about it when I got back from TwitchCon.
Thanks. But first, I'm very thankful, in order for every streamer that we have encountered at TwitchCon, and yourself as well, to actually, we had like so much positive feedback at TwitchCon. We were kind of overwhelmed with, how people actually like to understand what we do, spend time on the booth, ask us questions, and sometimes even like a technical question. We had like streamers that were programmers, developers, and it was like, they were even like asking how do we do, and so on. Like, it was very interesting. And in order to maybe engage with one question that I'm sure that you want to ask. So for now, we support 3 games. We support Fortnite, League of Legends, and we have added Valorant very, very quickly during COVID, which was nights and days of work. But what we do and how we select games is, so each game is taking like a precise amount of time in order to. There's integration. There's understanding the psychology of the game, understanding what viewers want from the streamer during that game. It's not very easy. But it's taking like approximately like 1 month to 2 months for us to integrate a new game, and we select the game based on the viewership. So the only thing that we do is analyze the Twitch viewership, and we select the next games that is I would say more adequate to have challenges on top of the gameplay. Which is not on every game. We have to get a game that has a competitive mindset. Otherwise, putting challenges on Warcraft might be like useless. But for example, the next games that we will integrate, so in the, I would say, next 3 to 4 months, we hope to integrate Apex, PUBG, CSGO, and maybe Dota 2. But it's like this is the 4 next games that we will integrate, and the only reason why we might not integrate one of those games is if the viewership of Twitch will go toward a new game or based on a game update. We never know what can actually happen.
Correct.
And right now we're at the point of the year where all of these big games are launching. We just saw Rogue Company launch. What's that one?
Fault is a new one too.
Fault launched. What was the one right before? The one that everybody was playing that looked like it was futuristic, looked like it was made 10 years ago.
I didn't really care for it, but I can't remember. Yes, Hyperscape.
Hyperscape. All of these games are launching, and of course they bring in the big viewership initially because it's a new game. It's getting a lot of the hype, but I imagine that as a development team, you have to really understand the culture behind that. Is this game going to see a sharp peak and then a quick drop off? Or is it going to be a game that is sustainable? And I imagine that Valorant, although everybody knew that Valorant was going to have a drop-off, since you are already working with Riot for League of Legends, I imagine that it probably made that a little bit easier, and then understanding that Riot is going to support the shit out of their games. Knowing we know that Valorant's around to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly that. So there's a understanding how the API of each game functions, how they work, how can we actually work with them, collaborate, of course, with game editors, which is something very strict. You don't want to actually mess with any games, any game editor. So we have to understand exactly what we can do with events that we are getting from the games, and then how we treat data, how we stock this data, and how we can actually create challenges from this data. So it's technically we have to create like again for every game, a new way to integrate those data, treat them, store them in challenges, and then enable your audience to actually send you those challenges. And the goal is, of course, every time that we add a new game, the goal is for the streamer and both the audience to have like no friction at all. So we want to have a very seamless experience where both you and your audience, can have everything done automatically. So there's only the fun layer, the fun engagement, nothing that will take more time or more action or more time to actually be solved. So this is like why we are taking like our time in order to integrate each game, because we first need to understand what can we do with this game, how we should do it. Then on technical aspect, my tech team is checking, they have like a development time of approximately a month or 2 per game, and then we have a lot of testing to do to make sure that the promise and the vision that we have within the product will be completely coherent within the new supported game, and then we deploy it for everyone to use.
That's a lot going on. There's a lot that goes into choosing these games.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
It's not easy.
Doesn't sound easy.
So Dan, if you don't mind me asking, we have a couple of questions that are coming in from chat, guys, and I'll do my best to get to those. But DJ and I have a path that we like to go down and get us in a direction. So if we still have time, we'll come back to them. But can you give me a little bit of background? What did you both professionally and like in your personal life, what did you do prior to Gimbl? What
Of
got
course.
you to this point?
Okay, but it's no worries at all. So so what I did, I studied international business myself, 5 years, and at my third year, I created my first startup. I was around 20, 21, something like this.
Wow.
With two people from my actual classmates. And we actually looked at a big company, so called Groupon. I don't know if there's a Groupon in the US, but there is.
Never heard of it.
I think it's Groupon, or I don't know how it's named. But basically, it's like flash sales. And it was quite very big. It was the start of like flash sales online in 2010. And so we actually put our personal money into like this company. We went to China in order to buy and manufacture goods. So we specialized ourselves in kitchenware. And so this is what we did. We actually sold ceramic knives online during 2 years. It was, to be honest, very, very successful. And after 2 years, whenever I got graduated, I had to decide whether I continue with this company or actually, go and find a job or try a new thing. And the entrepreneurial, experience was like so fun, and I learned so much every day. It was like, it's very hard because you're working like twice than every friend that you have, but it was what actually I always wanted to do. And so I decided to actually leave my two friends, leave the company, because I felt that in order for me to create a new company one day or to sustain the company that I have for years, I had to actually go and work for someone and have experience in order to understand, there's like a sales department, marketing department, purchasing, logistics, tech, and how everyone connects and work toward achieving goals. So what I did was I left France. I went to live in China for almost a year.
Wow.
As a free sourcing agent. So I worked for an agent there, and I brought my clients that I had in Europe. And I learned Chinese again. So I studied Chinese in business school, but I learned Chinese there as well. And I basically flew around China, looked for factory, audited some factory, find factories for European customers, European stores. And then after a year, I understood that I had the experience that I wanted. So I came back and I looked for a job, and I worked as a product guy. So it's not product tech, it was a product a buyer. So I was a buyer for 2 years within a household. So I bought furniture, but in large quantities, containers.
Yeah.
I did that for 2 years, started as a junior, and quickly, after 2 years, I got promoted to purchaser and marketing manager within the B2B subsidiary of a big household group in France. And after, again, a year or two, I wanted to create my own company. I was a bit tired of going back again every day doing the same job, and I had this goal all along in order for me to, whenever I will have enough experience and I will feel ready, I'll go and create my own company again. And this is actually when I decided to quit and study a lot of industries, analyze industries. I went to US in order to go to a crypto conference in New York. And I met my co-founder, which was a tech. So he's a French engineer that has graduated from Polytechnique, a very good French engineering school, and did a master of computer science at Columbia in the US as well. And he worked at Dailymotion and other companies as a tech person, so product and developer. and we both, were at the same stage in our careers where we wanted a bit more. He never created a company before. He always was an employee, and I actually told him, you know what, we are a perfect match. You are the tech side that I always wanted to be, and I'm not. And if I want to reach that point in my life, I have to only do tech for at least 5 or 6 years in order to be a good tech guy. And again, like people that are so talented, and it's impossible for me to reach that level. But I'm already at that level in terms of entrepreneurship, business, operations, financially speaking, managing a company. And this is where we fitted, and I asked him to actually come and try, to find a way for us to create a company. And this is how actually Gimbl, was born. So yeah, and he did products and dev for at least 9 years after graduating from Columbia. Wow. And yeah, so he's like 34, 35, and I'm 31. And so this is now it's been like 2 years and a half that we are co-founders together, and let's see where it leads us. But we hope to actually have Gimbl for at least 10 more years now.
So that's an amazing journey to get you to here. How many languages do you speak?
Quite a few, I imagine. I'm gonna say at least 4.
Let's say at least 3.
Let's say 4.
But I guess we'll see.
Can we get challenges? Can we get a challenge created for that right now?
I know, right? Overlay. Let's see. So I speak French. It's my mother tongue. My family is from Israel, so I speak Hebrew as well, natively. So French, Hebrew. I speak English, of course, almost bilingual. I won't say that I'm a native speaker at all. I understand Arabic a lot. I don't speak it, but I understand fully, as my parents are coming from Morocco originally. And I speak Chinese. I learned Chinese at school, so I speak Mandarin.
Very nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
I write, read, and speak a bit of Chinese. I'm not fully fluent, but I can actually go to China and be anywhere you want in China, and I'll know my way to actually know or discuss, engage with people.
So if you were playing PUBG in China, you could still run your team?
No way. Chinese is a very complex language, a very interesting one, to be honest, but it's on a professional basis, I won't be able to actually speak Chinese for professional purposes.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing, dude. What was that,
really
5
amazing.
languages?
Yeah.
Man, I felt good with just English and Spanish, man. Damn.
I feel like living in America, learning languages outside of our native ones, we are very sheltered. We are not encouraged to learn other languages, and I feel like it's a big deficit for us. I wish that I would have spent more time learning even Spanish, but I know a little bit of Spanish and I know a little bit of German, and
it's all the bad words too.
Yep. Yeah, I know just enough Chinese. I know just enough Mandarin to let somebody know they pissed me off.
But the fact is, in Europe, first of all, it's very small compared to. So each specific country is very small compared to US. But it's so easy to travel in Europe. So you can go to Italy and there's another language. You can go to Portugal. There's another language. You can go to Spain. It's another language. Greece. So we can travel very easily. The cost of traveling, within Europe is I won't say very cheap, but it's okay. So
it's affordable.
It's affordable. Anyone can actually travel within Europe. So you are always hearing new languages, and living in Paris, which there's tourists every day during the entire year. So you can meet people very easily, and you hear new languages, and even within Paris, there's a lot of origin people that lives in Paris. It's a bit the same as in London. You have a lot of foreigners that work, live, travel. So you meet a lot of people, which is actually fun.
That's pretty awesome. So I just recently learned, I believe it's in Paris, that Paris takes its drinking water very, very serious, correct? Like y'all have an amazing system for water?
For filtration?
So,
Dude,
filtration.
Okay.
There's like
It's true.
thousands of spots to get clean, good water for free, and almost no water bottles, like no plastic water bottles. Water's
Wow.
free. You buy containers to put it in.
Yeah, so it's true. It's true. So I'm not an expert on the subject, but it's true. In Paris, you have like many spots where you can actually go and take a free purified water. It's true.
It's really cool. I just watched a documentary about that on Netflix, and one of the episodes was about the insane system that's put in place there. And then here, I mean, it's a really interesting conversation, because in the United States, there's areas where you would absolutely not want to drink the tap water, and then in Paris, it's wonderful water is readily available.
Even from your home, like even if you want to drink actually like water from I don't know how it's called, but the thing,
the faucet.
The faucet, yeah, exactly, the faucet.
Okay.
It's it's good water. It's purified water, and it's good water. You won't be harmed by drinking this water. And whenever I was in China, it was something that was impossible. Like even like cooking with water, to me as European, it was a bit hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, you kind of get used to it. But the first weeks, it was I didn't know, and I didn't understood why I felt a bit of pain sometimes, and then I understood that I had to cook and drink water that was purified.
Wow, that's crazy. Because like, just imagine that makes a lot of sense when you go to like foreign areas that you're not used to going, and your body's not used to taking in that kind of water. So I'm assuming you probably got like an upset stomach, or maybe some diarrhea or something from the water you were drinking, because it wasn't your body wasn't used to drinking that. I don't want to say dirty water, but I mean it kind of is dirty water compared to your water.
It's bad water. Yep.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's exactly that.
It's different. So. I think that as we are talking about some things that people may or may not know from around the world, what do you think, DJ? Should we ask them some questions?
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah. So, Dan, would you like to play What the Fact with us? That would be.
Let's go. I don't know the game, but let's go.
What the fact?
All right, Dan, we're going to have 10 questions for you. They're either going to be true or they're going to be false. It's going to be up to you to determine that.
Okay, so I need to state if I need to just answer true or false. That's it.
Correct.
That's correct.
Okay.
And what are we capping them on? What's the limit for that free merch item?
Let's say 7.
7? Okay.
If you get 7 out of 10 right.
Okay.
7. That's all you need, Dan. Just 7.
Okay. Okay, let's go.
All right. You want to get it started?
All right, let's go. All right, question number 1. A mantis shrimp can punch with the force of a .22 caliber bullet. True or false?
A mantis what?
Shrimp.
Shrimp.
Okay, a mantis shrimp.
Can punch with the force of a .22 caliber bullet.
I want to say true just because you asked the question, but I think it's false. I know it will be true. So I want to say true. Now, it's possible. False. False.
You can see his gears just turning.
Yep.
So
False.
false?
Yeah. Ah!
It's true.
It's true.
It's so fast that the punch can't be seen with the human eye. It can break through glass and is used for hunting down prey.
Crazy.
Imagine that.
I had it true at first, and then
Yeah, you doubted
myself.
yourself.
Gotta go with that gut. Gotta go with the gut. So, question number 2. Nintendo, the game company, was founded in 1889.
I so want to play, like, speak with you and do a Google search. 1889. I think it's before that.
All you're gonna hear is Dan going.
No. Okay. Let's say true. 1889. True. No, it's true. It's true.
True.
Yeah.
That is true.
The beloved Japanese gaming company is about 100 years older than, not you, but than what people may have thought. Decades before Pokemon and Mario, Nintendo started out as a card game company. They slowly branched out into other forms of gaming over the years. Yeah. I didn't even know that card games other than poker existed in the 1800s.
Right? Jeez. So that's one correct answer for Dan.
Yep.
All right, Dan. Number 3.
I'm afraid of the question.
You should be. This is a very intimidating question.
This one is.
Wow.
A bear that fought with Poland in World War II was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. True or
A
false?
bear?
A bear. Bear. Like rar bear.
I think it's true because there's a, for example, I know that in the army there's dogs that are trained and that actually gain ranks through training and through missions. So why not a bear? So I'll say it's true. What?
He's gonna throw his laptop. Just
So this one was actually a trick question. It was a trick question.
yeah, it kind of was a trick question.
Yep.
So the soldier bear was released from the prison camps of Siberia only to be picked up in the Iran by Allied forces. A Polish army looked after him and he helped out the war effort moving ammunition during the Battle of Monte Cassino in Italy. Following the battle, he was promoted to rank of corporal. And
Not
after
lieutenant.
not lieutenant. So that's where the tricky part was. He wasn't promoted to lieutenant, but he was promoted to corporal. Thus answering wrong.
I'm a very bad loser.
I think we just ruined this whole morning.
Thank you guys.
I think so. We asked this question to one of our previous guests because we really liked this question.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he had the exact same reaction as you just did.
He wasn't too happy. You know what? We're just gonna give you that one. We're gonna give you that. We're
Honestly,
be nice.
We're gonna give you that one because the real question is do you think that the bear was promoted? And you said yes, and it is true.
Yeah.
A bear fought in the war and was promoted. So we'll give it to you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you. So number 4, there are more trees on Earth than there are stars in the galaxy.
It's impossible. It's false.
It's actually true.
What? There are more. Sorry. The question is: there are more trees than stars.
Yes. By a lot.
Look,
Check
his face.
this out, Dan. So the number of trees on Earth is mind-boggling. As pointed, as somebody did some research on this. NASA estimates that there are between 100 billion and 400 billion stars, right? 100 to 400 billion stars. But according to a paper from Nature, there are more than 3 trillion trees on Earth.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so what's crazy about that is the majority of people don't actually comprehend the difference between 1 billion and 1 trillion. And the difference between 1 billion and 1 trillion is massive. So to know that there's roughly 400 billion stars versus 3 trillion trees is ridiculous. That's a lot of fucking trees.
Okay, not doubting you, but I actually noted trees versus stars, so I will definitely do a Google search after.
Check it out. Check it out.
I don't be knowledgeable on the subject for next time. I don't know.
That's what we want to encourage people to learn and grow and research.
Right? It's a learning experience.
It is.
Okay, number 5. Betty White is older than sliced bread. True or false? He's like, what the fuck is going on here? That's funny that you would have that in your office. You might shoot your coworkers
True, Jay.
or your employees.
We are loaded. Okay, so I want to say since sliced bread. There's no way I'm getting right on that question. There's no way at all. I want to say false.
It is true. Sliced bread hit the market on July 7th, 1928. Betty White was born on January 17th, 1922.
Okay.
He's writing that down.
I'm just writing it, sorry. Sliced bread, Betty White. Okay.
All right. These questions aren't easy. We never promised easy questions.
They're not easy.
So, honey expires in 15 years. True or false?
Honey expires in 15 years. I don't think honey. I honestly liked you guys before. Now I actually hate you.
He's like, man, it's too early to be thinking.
Yep. Gotta.
I want to say. So, can you repeat the question just to make sure that I'm not answering? So,
Honey expires after 15 years.
I want to say true, and again, I think it will be wrong, but how is it possible that it can actually last more than 15 years already? Let's say true. Oh, no.
But the answer will surprise you. Honey never expires.
And I said it.
Never. Yep.
Yeah.
It never expires.
Trust your gut, man. Just trust your gut.
I don't know what it would be like to have 15-year-old honey, but it is good to know that bees are so magnificent that the honey they make, we can eat indefinitely.
So just to make it clear, I have to justify myself.
Yes.
I knew and I said it, that honey never expires, and I thought that honey never expired. But I thought that based on human consumption and standards, they had to create like a kind of a date where you cannot consume anymore. And this is where the question was tricky.
It's true. So this is the difference between us and you. You want to create challenges that the viewers can complete and reward everybody involved. We want to create challenges that are going to trip you up and make you upset.
Yeah, I'm going to kill myself right after the stream.
That is not what we want to do.
Nothing anymore. Bye bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you got 2 right. Just 2. You need 5 more.
Thank you for remembering everyone how dumb I am. Thank you.
You got explicit over here crying now. Oh man. All right. Question number 7. Baby carrots were invented in 1986. True or false? Baby carrots were invented in 1986?
Okay. Can I call a friend?
At 4 o'clock in the morning?
I don't think they'd be too happy if you called them right now. But go for it.
He's gonna have nightmares now when he goes to sleep about this.
Have little baby carrots flying over his head.
Okay, so baby carrots. So sorry, baby carrots. So can you repeat the question to make sure?
Yeah, baby carrots were invented in 1986.
1986.
Yes, sir.
No, before. Before. So false.
False?
Yeah. Miss.
Man, you're on a roll. Baby carrots were actually not baby carrots. In case you didn't know, they're just chopped up normal carrots. Farmer Mike Eurosec invented them in 1986 as a way to use mishappen carrots that weren't sold in stores. He put them in bags and sold them in supermarkets. By the early 1990s, they became the phenomenon they are known now as baby carrots.
What's crazy about that is prior to hearing this question, I just thought that baby carrots were, like a special breed of carrots that were small. I didn't know that they were
Shaven?
marketed. Yeah, they're marketed as a way to sell bad produce.
When I first saw baby carrots, I thought it was the actual carrot, but pulled out of the ground before it was fully grown. So I thought that's how they got baby carrots to look the way they looked. But they always seem to look a little weird.
I'm sorry, guys. I cannot speak anymore. I will act as a League of Legends player. That's it.
He's gonna start feeding. He's just gonna run it down mid, and he's just gonna feed.
Right.
So here. So let's skip the next one. Then let me ask you. We'll ask you the 9th question. The last 2 questions I think are really good. They're very interesting. Human children don't get They don't get their kneecap bones until they're around 3 years old.
And I have a two-year-old daughter.
Does she have kneecaps? You see, he has an advantage here.
He does.
I don't know how often he goes around checking his daughter's kneecaps, though.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh, this should be easy then.
Are they there yet?
Looking, to be honest, looking at like toddlers are like very flexible. I want to say no because like if I would actually like bend my legs how she bends it, like I would definitely pop my my knee. So I want to say no.
So it's
you want to
false
say
is
false?
correct. Yep. They don't, but there's a but. You got it right. So a child actually begins developing their kneecaps at 2. So your daughter, her knees are like, I don't know if she actually has developed the hard portion of the kneecap yet, but prior to 2 years old, they don't have kneecaps. So that is like, they really do have little noodles that can just bend in ways that we can't.
Little noodles.
The issue with that answer is that if I was getting it wrong, I would be a terrible father. So, first, like I'm not knowledgeable on trees, stars, sliced bread, and now butter. Thank you.
Oh my god. That's funny, man. That's so funny.
Oh.
All right, Dan. The last one, man. This was pretty funny too. The Guinness Book of World Records was created to settle bar arguments. True or false?
Sorry, can you repeat? I think I did not understand the end of the question.
No, for sure. The Guinness Book of World Records was created to settle bar arguments. True or false?
Bar arguments. I want to say true because I think the logo is actually like there's a beer within the logo, or am I completely like sleep drunk.
Actually, I actually don't remember what their logo is.
I think.
So for right now, though, you're going to go with true or false?
I almost got everything wrong, so I want to say true.
Correct. The official origin story for the Guinness Book of World Records, the annual book that catalogs all of human achievement, is that it was used to settle an argument over whether the golden plover or the red grouse is the fastest game bird in Europe. No, it's the plover, by the way. One of the people arguing, Sir Hugh Beaver, the managing director of the Guinness Brewery, noted that the answer was hard to find in reference books. So he started one to settle these kinds of trivia arguments, and the Guinness Book of World Records was born in 1955.
Wow. Okay, so I just Googled the logo, and I was completely wrong about the logo, sorry.
But the reason that you are right is because you were thinking of Guinness beer.
Yes, I wanted, yeah.
Yep. And
exactly
the creator of the Guinness Book of World Records also worked for Guinness beer.
Okay.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
You should, because you just read it. He
Brewery.
was the director of the Guinness Brewery. You just didn't relate it back to...
I just figured it might have been a different brewery. I didn't relate it to Guinness and Guinness.
So some really interesting questions. And I want to ask you one more question, and let's see if I get this one right. Is Gimbl... Did you come up with the name because it's one letter short of gamble?
It's a very good question. So the brand name Gimbl. So what we wanted was something catchy, something ballsy that people would actually remember, something very easy, almost a gimmick, you know.
Yeah.
And there's all those apps now, Mimble, Gimbl, Wimble. Those like there's no meaning, but it's like very easy to remember.
It's catchy.
It's catchy, exactly. And what we wanted was, so it's almost like you would actually gamble, but the role would be for people to actually have like a brand name that would not be related to gambling. So what we did was we came up with something, more fun, and we said, okay, let's Gimbl. We took out the E at the end, and we said, let's go with gimbl.gg, something fun with the gaming side. Mm-hmm. And what we could do is, and it's kind of, maybe we'll go into that path, but you could almost say one day when we will be live on PUBG using Gimbl, you could say, okay, guys, let's Gimbl. Or I dare you to Gimbl me, kind of like creating an entire slang vocabulary around like this concept. So yes, so this is my answer, and I know this one is correct.
I know this one is correct. That's funny because right. Oh, that's funny. I actually ran across some research that I was doing. You guys were first considering the name Gimli, is that correct?
So initially when we started as a full blockchain venture. Okay. And the name was Gimli. And at some point, we wanted to rebrand, not in order to lose track of anything. The thing was we wanted to rebrand to be more into the gaming, the gaming sphere, something that would actually resonate within gamers.
That made more sense.
Gimli, it was like almost the same character as in the Lord of the Rings, and we wanted.
That's exactly what I thought about when I first saw that, and I read Gimli. I'm like, when I look at this name, it reminds me of the Lord of the Rings. That's exactly what I went to. So that's funny that you say that.
So we wanted actually to rebrand and to make sure that we had like something that would be that could actually scale within the gaming industry, and that could actually last without doing a rebranding once we actually gain traction within the gaming industry. So we work with a brand specialist in order for us to rethink the brand, the logo, how it would actually impact gamers to have something, short that people could remember and that could and something that would actually not be related to anything that actually exists. And so we rebranded everything to Gimbl.
Awesome.
I like it.
Thank you.
So I know that you've stuck around with this pretty late. I know that
Pretty
there
early.
was one or pretty early in your case. Ice Wolf, our community manager, had a question earlier that I do want to ask. So he has a very it's a concept that I think was unique to him, but I think that it fits with your branding very well. And I don't know if this is something you've considered or not. But are there any plans to implement a reward system for the viewer as opposed to the raider, i.e. raid, like if the viewer raids with so many people X number of times, like maybe they would get a reward from the streamer, like a piece of merchandise from their merch store or something like that. That would clearly would require a lot of different elements into your current system. But have you considered anything like that?
So to be honest, it's a very good question that no one is asking us, and it's one key element toward reaching even more level of engagement from your viewers. So yes, it's something that we work on. So we have a clear roadmap. Okay, now the goal is to make sure that the challenges are way more friendly, and we want to build a new challenge page to increase the level of community, so people could actually see what people have challenged on, in order to see what people want the streamer to do, and to how they want to actually see the streamer perform precise action within the game. So we want the entire challengers, so your viewers, to almost taunt themselves and, okay, I'm doing that, okay, come with me on this challenge. So it's almost the feeling of having like everyone within a room and engaging together. And so this is like the first challenge, so the first I would say a product update that we will have. And then on the second note, it's a second step, and it will we are starting to work on it just now, and it will take at least I would say maybe 2-3 months of just ideation. But we want to have the viewer that will actually engage within a donation, because so challenges are conditional based donations. So they actually send money to the streamer, but the only reward that he has is to see the streamer perform a precise action and fight for the challenge, which is already a lot. What we want now is to implement a way for either so without, of course, having a financial return, but the goal is to make sure that the viewer can actually receive I would say a feeling of emotion or of ownership of what he has done. So there's many ways for us to go into like into different paths. We could actually create like challenges that are actually cards that you would buy, and so people would actually earn cards that can actually send their friends too, but they will be like they will have like an ownership feeling. So it's something that we struggle with, to be honest, and we are working on a lot in terms of user experience, developing this user experience. And it's I would say for us a key of success element for you guys, in order for people to engage way more and to increase the way people will actually donate. It will again. We think that it will increase donation levels for streamers if we manage to get this. You spoke about merchandise. It's something, to be honest, that we never thought of. and it's definitely something that I wrote now. So we could actually plug with a store that you have either on, I don't know, Twitch, Streamlabs, or if someone has like a WordPress or a PrestaShop website, definitely something that we could evaluate. Of course, there's a feasibility that needs to be assessed, but yes. So it's definitely something that we are studying as we speak, and we already did like 2 workshops internally with like people from different aspects, game designers, UX specialists that we have involved within those workshops. But it's something very hard, and where we need to evaluate the psychology of users that actually donate money. We need to think of everything that happens within his like way of thinking whenever he's like he has this trigger. That's it. I want to donate, and what is making me feel good when I donate. And this is what we need to think in order to build this kind of new feature for him to get rewarded as he donates.
So, just to kind of spitball in an idea here, what I like about this idea is what you focus on right now is how the viewer engages with the streamer and how we can retain engagement from that side. What our community manager brings up is something that it hits, I think, on what your second point was, the 4 struggles of a streamer, which is once you have the engagement and you've started building a community, how do you continue to recognize the people who stand out in that community? How do you continue to want to motivate them to continue bringing you their friends and having them stick around? Traditionally, what you're doing right now is you're having to work with the developers of the games. You're having to get the access to their API to pull the stats, to analyze the stats, and then to base challenges around that. In this case, what I think you would have to do is possibly, and I don't know how open Twitch is, but you would have to get Twitch's stats and how often does X viewer host or raid a person. Can you pull that? And it wouldn't be one game. You would have to pull that over a period of time. And then you would have to work with the streamer to put the challenge out to the community, and we would put that up, and then whichever viewer completes the challenge first over the course of 30, 45, or 60 days, then they could claim that bounty. And I think that's a really interesting tactic, and it's something that we as individual streamers, we try and do, but we don't have anything that allows us to track that information easily. We don't.
Yeah.
Even if we manually try and track it, it's a time-consuming piece of our business, and we would be very grateful if we had somebody who would partner with us to make that a little bit easier, knowing that it's not an easy endeavor. But I think that would line up some with your company's vision very well. And
completely. It's something.
If you want to hire us, we're available.
I'll just note that, but I will never play again with you guys.
Oh
man,
you're completely right, and it's not easy to get data from any company, whether it's Twitch or games or games API, but in somewhere along the way, we will, I would say, continue to strengthen with our relationship with Twitch, with YouTube, maybe other streaming platforms, and game editors, and we will need to correlate more data toward building new product features. And our goal is always to have the community. So from now, like we have just launched the product, so the product is fully live, as I said, on Fortnite, League, and Valorant. But for next product features, the goal is for us to engage with the community that we will have. So we never actually use the Discord before, but as for now, we will really try to build a community on Discord, have all the streamers that have engaged with our product, on a Discord server. And the goal is to definitely go and test, so those are the key features that we want to integrate. What do you guys think? How do you guys see that working on your stream? What do you consider should be our product evolution? Because anyway, there's so me as the founder and my co-founder as well, we can go two ways. It's either we build what we think and we are sure that it's going to be a failure, or we actually consider putting our ideas into the hands of whoever will actually use the product, and we build a product in order for you guys to leverage your audience way more than you are currently doing it.
Yeah.
So we have taken the decision since the start, but now we are doing it in a way better manner and professionally way, to have ideas, concepts being validated by key users before even considering working on it. And so this is actually I would say the internal process that we have within the company to check what are the next steps for the company. And the roadmap is actually validated by gamers and streamers. Otherwise, it will not go into the product development phase.
It makes a lot of sense.
It really does.
Yeah, it's not easy reaching at that point, and you always need streamers that are available and they are offering time. So it's not easy to have people engage with you, but it's always great seeing people such as yourself devoted to what you do, and then trying to discuss with people as myself. And I'm sure that there's plenty of great entrepreneurs out there that are trying to develop things for the industry that will be great in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, maybe in a few days. And the more we actually communicate, the more we have people engage together and help each other, the more it will be helpful for us to build something that will suit any gamer in the world.
I couldn't agree more.
Exactly. Well, we've covered a lot, Dan. We covered a lot, man. I think we should let you get back maybe to sleep, get some rest right before you go back to work.
But it's 5 a.m. now, so I'm plenty awake. I will actually go now and run maybe 10 miles.
Oh wow!
Just to remember how bad I was on your game.
No, man, don't do that.
Don't punish yourself.
Yeah, don't do that. It's not necessary.
No. Well, Dan, thank you so much for creating the company that you've created, and kudos to your partner as well. It's a lot of help, and we find a lot of value in the companies that want to support streamers of all sizes. And you're right, the majority of people look at supporting the large streamers who already have $30 million contracts, and so any tool we can get that helps us out to combat that is definitely appreciated. And I think that the tool you're offering us really achieves that. And then you couple that with the fact that you were willing to set up this meeting with us all the way from Paris, guys. We have this great gentleman joining us, waking up at 2 a.m. and staying awake until 5 to bring some really interesting content, to share some great view, and we couldn't appreciate it more, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. To be honest, it was very fun, even if I had suicidal thoughts. But to be honest, it was very fun, and it was a pleasure for you guys for having me on the show. And just I'll put this out there for your community and even for you guys. We are always down to have discussion with streamers that wants to either participate in early projects such as ourselves. The goal is to build according to people, So if people want to be, kind of testers of new features, they want to even engage because they think that, we should create new challenges and they have challenges, ideas on precise games. We are always down to, think about, check the challenges that people want on their own stream in order to see if we can actually technically develop it. And if they have also, product ideas, the goal is for us to build a product for you guys, for both streamers and audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we have contact with streamers, the better the product will be. So
Exactly.
the more people wants to get engaged, you can actually hit me on Twitter or on Discord, and it will be perfect, and it will just enable for us to build like an even better product for you guys.
I love it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure later down the road we'll have some ideas spark in our head, and we'll make sure to get them to you.
Thank you. But we will never integrate trivia question if that's the question.
You're gonna see a challenge about the bear. That'd be funny.
The thing that I remember is my history, trees and stars, sliced bread, and I'll definitely, I have a lot of Google search down the road.
There you go, man. Well, guys, for those of you guys that aren't following or aren't watching on Twitch, you guys can go ahead and give us a thumbs up on YouTube on our channel and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell. We will have all of Dan's social media, his website down in the description, so you guys can go apply and get Gimbl on your site or your channel.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I don't know how should I do. I just leave.